A river moves like time, slowly, patiently, carrying fragments of what we once were. The water here is shallow enough to see stones, dark and smooth, worn down by years of current. They hold their shapes beneath the surface like promises kept in private. The evening sun slants through the trees, turns the water into hammered gold and everything the reeds. The mud banks, the insects hovering. Everything holds still for just a moment, as if the world is taking a breath. At the edge of that quiet river, a paper boat drifts, pale and trembling, small enough to cup in one hand. It catches the current and spins, once, twice, then straightens itself and glides forward with unexpected grace. The paper is thin. You can see the ink showing through, bleeding slightly where the water touches. Words half visible. A sentence, maybe two, the kind of thing you write when you think no one will ever read it. Somewhere nearby, a woman stands still, watching it float away. She is maybe 50, maybe younger. It's hard to tell in this light. Her hair is loose, catching the breeze that moves through the birch trees. Her hands hang at her sides, damp with river water. And there is something in the way she stands weight on one hip, shoulders, slightly forward that suggests she has been carrying something for a long time and has just now set it down. Her eyes follow the boat, not anxiously, not with regret, just watching. The way you watch leaves fall in October. Inevitable, beautiful, already gone even while you're looking. That boat, folded from a letter she never sent, carries everything she couldn't say. All the words that got stuck somewhere between her heart and her mouth. All the apologies that felt too small for the size of the silence. All the love that never found the right moment, the right language, the right ears. It's all there, creased into the paper, floating downstream toward a bend in the river where the willows hang low and the current quickens. The sun drops lower. The gold deepens to amber. The woman doesn't move. She just stands there at the water's edge, her feet half sunk in soft mud, and watches the boat become smaller, watches it drift past the fallen log where turtles sun themselves, past the place where the river widens and the water turns darker, past the point where she can still see it clearly. And then, without any drama, without any final glance or gesture, it disappears. Not sinking, not caught, just carried around the bend and out of sight. The way everything eventually disappears, the way time takes what we give it and moves on. The woman stands there a little longer. The air smells like water and earth and something faintly sweet, the scent of paper dissolving maybe, or just the smell of late summer letting go. She breathes it in, holds it, then turns and walks back toward the path that leads away from the river. Her hands are empty now, her shoulders a little lighter, and the river keeps moving, as it always has, as it always will. I used to come here as a child, to this same bend in the river, back when the world was smaller and more mysterious, when a river wasn't just water moving from one place to another, but a living thing with moods and secrets. I would sit on that fallen log, the one that's still there, more moss than wood, now, and watch the current carry leaves and twigs, and sometimes, if I was lucky, a dragonfly riding the surface like it knew exactly what it was doing. My father taught me how to fold paper boats, not the complicated kind, the simple ones. A single sheet torn from a notebook, 3 folds to make the hull, 2 more to make the sides, a gentle pull to open it up. He had large hands, calloused from work, but they moved with surprising delicacy when he was folding, as if the paper were made of something more fragile than just pulp and fiber. He said, if it floats, it means your heart is light enough. I was maybe 7, maybe 8, young enough to believe that hearts had weight you could measure. That happiness was something you could test by setting a paper boat on water and watching to see if it stayed up. I believed him completely, the way children believe everything their fathers tell them, especially when it's said quietly without explanation, like a piece of wisdom passed down through generations. So I folded boats obsessively that summer, used up half my school notebook, brought them to the river every afternoon after lunch when the sun was high and the water was warm enough to wade into. I tested my heart over and over. Most of them floated, some didn't. I never quite understood the pattern, why one boat would sail proudly downstream, while another would tip and fill and sink within seconds. But I kept trying, kept folding, kept believing that if I could just get it right, if I could fold the perfect boat, my heart would be light enough to carry me through whatever came next. Years passed. The world grew heavier, not all at once, gradually, the way things accumulate. Responsibilities, disappointments, the small griefs that don't have names but live in your chest anyway. My father got sick the year I turned 16. Cancer, quick and merciless. He was gone by spring, and suddenly the river wasn't a place of mystery anymore. It was just water, cold and indifferent, moving past me while I stood on the bank, too angry and too sad to even cry. I stopped folding paper boats, stopped visiting the river. Life became about keeping things from sinking. Bills, expectations, the marriage that looked fine from the outside, but was slowly drowning in silence. The job I stayed at because leaving felt more frightening than staying. The weight of being the person everyone relied on, the one who held it together, who didn't complain, who smiled at Thanksgiving, and pretended everything was exactly as it should be. I learned to carry all of it, learned to balance the weight so it didn't show, so people would look at me and think, she's fine, she's managing, she's strong. But strength, I've learned, is just another word for holding on too long. I haven't thought about paper boats in decades. Haven't thought about my father's hands or the way he folded paper with such impossible gentleness. Haven't let myself remember the summers when my biggest concern was whether my heart was light enough to float. But this morning, something inside me wanted to see the water again. I woke up early. The house was quiet. My husband still asleep upstairs, the dog curled in his bed, the coffee not yet made, and I felt it a pull, light but insistent, like a thread attached to my ribs. The river. I needed to see the river. I didn't plan it, didn't pack anything, just pulled on jeans and a sweater, grabbed my old notebook from the drawer, where I keep things I don't look at anymore, and drove the 20 minutes to the place where the birch trees line. The bank and the water runs clear over stones. It was still early. The light was soft, the air cool enough to see my breath. I stood there at the edge where the mud gives under your weight, and I looked at the water, moving past, patient and endless, and something in me broke open. Not broke as in shattered, broke as in opened, like a door you didn't know was locked. So I came here with nothing but an old notebook and quiet hands, and I stood there for a long time, just listening. To the water, to the birds waking up, to the sound of my own breathing, which I realized I hadn't really heard in years. I had been so busy managing everything, carrying everything, keeping everything afloat, that I had forgotten what it felt like to just stand still and listen. The notebook in my hands felt heavier than it should. I opened it. The pages were yellowed at the edges, brittle from time. Most of them were blank, but near the back, pressed between two pages, was a letter. Folded once, never sent. I had forgotten it was there. Or maybe I had forced myself to forget. The handwriting was mine, but younger. The ink faded, but still legible. I didn't read it. Didn't need to. I knew what it said. All the things I never found the courage to say out loud. All the apologies. All the love. All the small truths I kept locked inside because speaking them felt too dangerous, too revealing, too much like admitting that I wasn't as strong as everyone needed me to be. I tore the page carefully from the notebook. The sound of paper tearing was louder than I expected, sharp, final, and I stood there holding it, feeling the weight of words I had carried for so long. And I thought, maybe it's time to let this go. Maybe it's time to see if my heart is light enough to float. The sound of the river feels like memory, itself always returning, never repeating. It's the same sound I heard as a child, the same rhythm, the same soft rush over stones. But it's different too, because I'm different, because the ears that hear it now have lived through things the child's ears couldn't imagine: loss, silence, the slow erosion of hope into something quieter, more durable, something like acceptance. I kneel at the water's edge, the mud cool and soft beneath my knees. The letter trembles in my hands, not from wind, from the small shaking I didn't realize was there. My hands have been steady for so long, holding everything together, that I forgot they could tremble, forgot they were allowed to be uncertain. I fold the paper the way my father taught me, bottom corners to the center line, top edge down, aligned precisely, fingers pressing the creases flat. The paper resists slightly. It's been folded once already, has memory built into its fibers. But it yields. Paper always yields if you're patient enough. I fold it again, the sides coming together, the hull taking shape. My fingers remember the movements even though it's been decades. Muscle memory, they call it. But it's more than muscles. It's something deeper. The way your hands know how to hold a child, even if you've never held one. The way your body knows certain dances without being taught. This folding is in me, part of my history, part of the language my father spoke with his hands. The boat is finished, small and pale and imperfect. One side is slightly higher than the other. The creases aren't as sharp as they could be, but it holds its shape. And when I look at it sitting there in my palm, I see the ink showing through. The words I never sent, the love I never spoke, all of it visible through the thin paper, shadowy and soft, like something seen underwater. I set it on the surface of the river. For a moment, it just sits there, floating but motionless. The current swirls around it but doesn't take it. And I hold my breath, suddenly terrified that it will sink, that all of this, the drive here, the tearing of the page, the careful folding will end with the boat, filling with water and disappearing beneath the surface, that my heart, even now, is still too heavy. But then the current catches it, just a gentle tug, and the boat glides forward, slow at first, tentative, then with more confidence. It spins once in an eddy, rights itself, and moves downstream. The paper darkens where the water touches, but it doesn't sink. It stays up, carries forward, holds. I stand up, knees damp and aching, and watch it go. And something happens inside me. Something quiet but unmistakable. A shift, like a weight I've been carrying so long I forgot it was there, suddenly lifting, not disappearing, just lighter. I realized then I hadn't come here to remember him. My father, the man who taught me to fold boats and told me about light hearts. I thought that's what this was about. Coming back to the place we used to go together, trying to feel close to him again, trying to access some memory of a time when things were simpler and the world made sense. But that's not why I'm here. I came to forgive myself for forgetting, for letting the years pass without thinking about him, for being so consumed with survival, with keeping things afloat, that I stopped remembering what it felt like to be his daughter, to be the child who sat beside him, folding paper, believing in the weight of hearts. I thought forgetting was a betrayal, that every day I didn't think about him. Every hour I went about my life without grief. Pressing into my chest was a failure of love. So I held on to the grief, kept it close, let it become part of my structure, because releasing it felt like releasing him. But watching this boat move downstream, carrying words I never sent to a person who can't receive them, I understand something I didn't before. Forgetting isn't betrayal, it's survival. It's the only way to keep living. And the years I spent trying to be strong were just another way of being afraid, afraid to let go, afraid to feel the full weight of loss, afraid that if I stopped carrying him with me every single day, he would disappear completely, that I would wake up one morning and not remember his face or his voice, or the way his hands moved when he was folding paper. So I held on, gripped tight, made strength out of stubbornness and called it love. But it wasn't love. It was fear. Fear, like water, finds every hidden crack. It seeps in, fills the spaces you thought were sealed, weighs everything down, makes even the smallest boat too heavy to float. I've been sinking for years, calling it strength. Been drowning slowly, calling it honor. The boat is farther now, past the fallen log, past the place where the river widens. I watch it navigate around a rock, tilt slightly, correct itself. It's doing what boats do, what they were designed to do. Carry something forward, not forever, just for as long as they can. And I think that's all any of us can do. Carry what we can for as long as we can, and then let the current take it. Not because we're weak, not because we're giving up, but because that's what love does. It moves, it changes. It doesn't stay fixed in one position, holding one shape, bearing one weight. It flows. The letter in that boat, the one I never sent, the one that says things I still can't say out loud, doesn't need to arrive anywhere. It doesn't need to be read. It just needs to move, to stop being a weight I carry and become something the river carries instead. I feel tears on my face. Didn't notice them starting. They're not sad tears, or not only sad. There's something more complicated. Relief, maybe, or release. The kind of crying that comes when you've been holding your breath for so long. You forgot you were holding it, and suddenly you remember how to exhale. I let myself cry. Let the tears fall into the river, the way the boat floats on it. And I watch, and I breathe, and I let go. The river glows silver in the late light. Everything is softer now, the edges blurred, the colors muted to shades of gray and pearl and the palest gold. The birch trees are silhouettes against the sky. The water barely ripples, and the air has that quality it only has at dusk, hushed, expectant, as if the world is holding its breath between day and night. I sit on the fallen log, the one I used to sit on as a child. The wood is damp and rough with moss. It soaks through my jeans a little, but I don't mind. I'm not in a hurry. There's nowhere I need to be except here. The paper boat has vanished, yet I feel its motion inside me, a quiet continuity. Like the current is still moving, even though I can't see it anymore. Like the boat is still floating somewhere downstream, even though it's probably dissolved by now. Even though it's probably just paper pulp and ink mixed with river water, feeding algae, becoming part of the ecosystem. It's still there, still moving, still carrying what I gave it. That's what continuity is, I think. Not permanence, not things staying the same forever, but motion that doesn't stop, energy that transfers from one form to another, love that changes shape but doesn't disappear. I kneel again at the water's edge and touch the surface. It's cool, alive, forgiving. The word surprises me. Forgiving, but that's what it feels like. The water doesn't judge, doesn't ask why I stayed away so long, doesn't demand explanations. It just receives, takes what I give it, tears, boats, memories, and carries them forward without resentment. That's what I want to be like. Forgiving. Not in the big dramatic ways, not pardoning huge betrayals or absolving terrible wrongs, but in the small daily ways, forgiving myself for not being perfect, for not having all the answers, for doing the best I could with what I knew and still getting things wrong, forgiving the people I love for being human, for disappointing me sometimes, for not being able to carry their own weight, let alone mine, forgiving the world for being harder than I expected, for not matching the story I was told as a child, for being full of loss and confusion, and endings that don't feel like endings, just pauses that stretch into silence. All of it forgiven, not forgotten. Forgiven. For the first time in years, my heart feels buoyant, light enough to float. That's what my father said. That's what the paper boats were testing. And I understand now what he meant. Not that you have to be happy all the time, not that you have to pretend loss doesn't weigh you down, but that you have to let go of what you cannot carry. That lightness isn't about having less, it's about holding differently, carrying what matters and releasing what doesn't, trusting that the river will take care of the rest. I feel buoyant, like something in me has unmoored, like I've been anchored in one place for so long, holding one position that I forgot I could move. And now suddenly I remember, I can move, I can change, I can let the current take me somewhere new. Not because I have to, because I'm allowed to. Because staying in one place was always a choice, not a requirement. Some memories don't fade, they transform. That's the truth I've learned today. Standing here at the river where I used to come as a child, where my father taught me to fold boats, where I learned that hearts have weight and happiness has a price. Those memories haven't faded. If anything, they're clearer now than they've been in years. I can see my father's hands, hear his voice, feel the warmth of the sun on that summer afternoon when the world was simpler and loss was something that happened to other people, but the memories have transformed. They're not painful anymore. They're not weights I have to carry or shrines I have to maintain. They're just stories, true stories, important stories, but stories nonetheless. They stop being stories of sorrow and become small, shining truths that keep us afloat. That's what memory is for, maybe. Not to trap us in the past, not to make us long for what we've lost, but to remind us of what we've survived, what we've loved, what we're capable of feeling. Every memory is proof that you were alive, that you paid attention, that you let yourself care enough to hurt when it was over. And that's a gift. Even when it doesn't feel like one, even when it feels like a burden, it's still a gift. Proof that you were here, that you mattered, that you loved and were loved in return. The paper boat was never meant to last. I think about that, about all the things we make that aren't meant to be permanent. Sand castles, snow angels, pencil marks that erase, paper boats that dissolve. We make them anyway, not in spite of their impermanence, but because of it. Because beauty doesn't have to last forever to matter. Because love doesn't have to be eternal to be real. Because sometimes the most meaningful things are the ones that exist for just a moment, then disappear, leaving only the memory of their existence. The boat lasted long enough to carry what I needed it to carry, long enough to move from my hands to the water, long enough to teach me what I needed to learn. That's all anything needs to do. Last long enough. Be present for the moment it's needed. Then let go. But the courage to let it go that will, that's what stays. Not the boat, not the letter, not even the grief or the love or the memories exactly, but the courage to release them, the willingness to trust the current, the decision to kneel at the water's edge and open your hands and let go of what you cannot hold. That courage is renewable. That willingness is something you can practice. That trust gets stronger every time you use it. I've spent so much of my life holding on, gripping tight, afraid that if I loosened my fingers, everything would slip away and I would be left with nothing. But now I understand. The tighter you hold, the heavier everything becomes, the more it weighs you down. But when you let go, when you really, truly let go, you don't lose anything. You just stop carrying it. You let it exist separately from you. You let it move at its own pace, in its own direction, and you become lighter, freer, more yourself. The paper boat drifts farther now, carrying pieces of handwriting, sunlight, and dust. It's smaller from here, hard to see clearly, just a pale shape on dark water, catching the light as it moves. Soon it will round the bend where the willows hang low, and I won't be able to see it anymore. Soon it will dissolve completely, the paper breaking down, the ink bleeding into the current, becoming part of the river itself. And that's okay. That's what it's meant to do. For a long moment, I simply stand there, my feet sinking slightly into the mud, my arms at my sides, no urge to follow the boat, to keep it in sight for as long as possible. No need to know exactly where it goes, or what happens when the paper finally gives way. Just standing, just being here, at the edge of the water, in the soft evening light. The air smells of earth and something sweet like the scent of old envelopes. That particular smell of paper that's been stored for a long time. Slightly musty, slightly floral, the smell of things saved. Things kept, things that outlasted their original purpose and became artifacts of a life lived. I breathe it in, let it fill my lungs. And I realize that smell doesn't make me sad anymore. For years, opening that notebook hurt, seeing my own handwriting from another time, when I was younger and more certain, and hadn't yet learned all the ways love can disappoint you. It hurt because it reminded me of who I used to be, who I thought I would become. But now, standing here, smelling that sweet paper smell, I feel something different. Tenderness for that younger version of myself, for the woman who wrote a letter she couldn't send, who felt things so deeply she had to fold them up and hide them away, who carried grief like a stone in her pocket, thinking that's what love required. She was doing the best she could, with what she knew, with what she had, and so am I. Every loss I've carried suddenly feels smaller, lighter, somehow more human, not less real, not less significant, but less like a burden and more like a texture, a part of the landscape. The way a river is shaped by the rocks it flows around, the way a tree grows crooked because of wind. Loss doesn't have to flatten you. It can just shape you, add dimension, make you more yourself, not less. I think about all the things I've lost. My father, my youth, the marriage that ended quietly, without drama, just a slow dissolution into separate rooms and separate lives. The version of myself I thought I would be by now, more successful, more certain, more together. All of it gone, carried downstream by time. But I'm still here, still standing, still capable of feeling the sun on my face and the mud under my feet, still able to fold paper boats and set them on water and watch them float. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's everything. Maybe memories aren't meant to be kept, only released, so they can flow back into the world, like seeds, like breath, like these paper boats that dissolve and become part of the river, feeding whatever comes next. We think we're supposed to hold on to things, preserve them, keep them exactly as they were, build museums in our minds, where everything stays frozen in place, unchanging, perfect. But nothing stays perfect. Nothing stays frozen. Memory, real memory, is a living thing. It shifts. It changes with each telling. Each time you remember something, you're not accessing the original moment, you're creating a new version of it, filtered through everything you've learned since. So maybe the point isn't to keep memories intact. Maybe it's to let them change. Let them become stories you tell yourself, stories that help you understand who you are now, not who you were then. Maybe love, too, survives best when we stop trying to hold it still, when we let it move and shift and change form, when we stop demanding it look a certain way or last a certain length, when we let it be what it is in each moment, sometimes close, sometimes distant, sometimes just a memory of warmth that helps you through a cold day. I loved my father. I love him still. But that love doesn't live in the past anymore. It doesn't live in the river where we used to fold boats together. It lives in me, in my hands that remember how to fold, in my willingness to come back here after decades away, in my ability to cry and let go and trust that the water will carry what I cannot. That's the love that survives, the kind that doesn't need to be held tightly, the kind that trusts the current. The boat has rounded the bend now, disappeared from view. I could walk downstream, follow it, watch it until it finally sinks. But I don't. I stay here, let it go completely. Trust that wherever it ends up is exactly where it's meant to be. The sun is lower now, the gold turning to pink, then gray. evening settling in. I should probably head back, drive home, make dinner, return to the life I've built imperfect, a little lonely, but mine. But I stay a few minutes longer, just to feel this lightness, this sense of something resolved, not in the way you solve a problem, but in the way you stop needing it to be solved. I kneel one more time at the water's edge, dip my hand in. The water is cold, alive, moving fast. It runs through my fingers, around my palm, and keeps going, never stopping, never looking back, just forward, always forward. I understand now. That's what I need to do too. Not forget, not pretend the past didn't happen, but stop trying to hold it in place. Let it flow. Let it change. Let it become part of everything that comes next, rather than the thing that keeps me standing still. I dry my hand on my jeans, stand up, turn back toward the path, and as I walk away from the river, I feel different, lighter, not like I've left something behind, but like I've returned something to where it belongs, given it back to the current, trusted the water to carry what I couldn't. My hands swing at my sides, empty and free. The evening air is cool on my face, and somewhere downstream, a paper boat dissolves into river water, becoming part of something larger than itself, just like the rest of us, just like love, just like memory.